Hello YouTube, welcome to SnapCast episode 2. Today we'll be covering Eye of Horus by Taylorhead. Joining me today are 4 other Snapmap authors. First of all, we got the author of Chain Gun Tom, Mr. Patrick.
It's me, the Pat of the Misters.
We also got the author of Garrock's Pantheon, Count Lazuli.
Sup, ghouls and gals?
Also, the author of the Ethereal Shards series, Shadesmaster.
No one wears shades quite like Shadesman.
And, last but not least, the author of Devil City Ransom, Z-Man Zilla.
You lied, there's no candy in this van.
Yep. Alright, so here we are with Eye of Horus.
Alright.
Checking out the leaderboard here.
That's amazing.
It's gonna be a long.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this. Taylorhead has a long time been a big favorite of mine. He's which is really frustrating though, because I've only been able to finish his boards about half the times I play them. But I love them so much when I play them, even if I don't get to finish them. He is so creative.
Yeah. For the longest time, Taylorhead was known as the one guy with the one map because he had Twofold's domain. And it was the freaking most awesomest thing I'd ever seen up until that point. Like it was just insane. And then when this map came out, everyone was just blown away by it.
I'm pretty sure people took a day off of work to play this when it came out because they were just like, "Holy shit! I live in a world where Taylorhead has 2 maps now.
Whoa.
That's mind blowing."
Let's not kid ourselves here. There's a reason why this map here is number 1 on Rockhart's top snap maps list of 100.
Yeah, bribery. But I mean, no.
Damn it, Singer Man.
Yep.
All right.
And
but no. In all seriousness, it absolutely deserves to be there. It is a work of art in so many ways, and here's the thing: Twofold's domain got people thinking about score multiplier systems, and this is the map that really got people going. You know what? We all got to come up with our own systems because Taylor is owning the score multiplier concept so much. You know,
he really is.
Everybody that tries to put in their map, they might find great ways of doing it, but he's the guy that pretty much showed everybody that it should be implemented in the first place. He paved the way. And of course, yeah. And of course, as far as surreal geo builds, there are a few better. There are a few better than Taylorhead. So.
Man, that guy is an icon. Man, did he inspire my own work.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine if his name was Head or Tail, because it sounds like it could be heads or tails or heads, just the way his name sounds. So it was like he could be either one.
Maybe.
I wonder if his name was a pun on that. Maybe not, but it sounds like it could be.
I'm not sure. I think there's just a tailor involved somewhere.
Oh, here we go.
Maybe he makes clothing for a living.
Here we go.
I
love that flower design.
Yeah, that's so badass.
I love how he does the flowers. Yeah.
And
I like the snow.
Oh, the shuttle has landed.
Yeah. We're about to get out.
Intro.
Stuff.
I always wondered, did he raise those enemies' health or something? Because it seemed like they took way more damage to take down.
I mean, it's also the chain gun, so.
Yeah.
To be honest, I felt like they were a little of course, I'm used to doing the dice show out the gate. I'm amazed you didn't go straight for that one multiplier that's over in the corner. That one there. Usually, what you do is you try to if you're doing a high score run.
Oh yeah.
You got to jump over the crowd to go make it to that flower first, so that you get the multiplier for all of those guys.
Right. Well, I think I should point out right now, this isn't really a guide on how to make a high score run. This is just me playing. This is just me playing it for the first time in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So I make plenty of mistakes.
Now, I did a little experiment here, and I think one of the last times I played this map, I just ran through this entire first module, and I tried to see if I could skip as many enemies as I could. When I got to the fire and ice boss fight, which we'll see later, some of the enemies didn't spawn, so I wasn't sure if that was connected to me skipping a chunk of the map.
Oh, probably.
Oh, maybe.
I mean, you got to keep in mind, this was before a lot of us were really having to take those measures, because people weren't building these giant Taylorhead-ass boards back then, True. So it didn't come up nearly as much.
Yeah, and this is full custom geo, too.
I didn't know you could climb on those.
Literally, it's ice. Looks like ice.
Oh yeah, you can tell JR's playing because he billy goats on everything. So.
Yeah, I can't help it.
JR is the man that taught me the term billy goating. I'm going to tell you that right now.
It is my Discord avatar for a reason.
Yes.
Is that why?
Yep.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Crash every time he does it. Yeah.
Crash is the original billy goat. He's like when I was learning how to test maps, like it was really useful watching his playthroughs, because the one thing he always tested thoroughly in his playthroughs was the mobility. So yeah. So yeah,
I'm assuming Crash is a thing for rock climbing then.
Yeah, maybe.
Not in real life. I prefer not to die,
Yeah, so I just ran through this whole hall of enemies. I didn't even touch the zombies right at the entrance to the escape pod. I just ran through here.
Wow. Really? First off, I'm surprised these guys even had a chance to spawn then.
Oh no, I don't think these guys spawned yet when I did that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you ran past that first group of dudes,
How did the specters spawn?
Actually, come to think of it, this might have been the first ever Snapmap I played, considering where it is on the community spotlight.
Yeah, it's the first for a lot of people, which is a good thing.
What happened was,
wow. I like how their animations are identical. How does that even happen?
Well, you spawn them all at the same time.
Oh, this in the final area.
So,
I like how he explains how to take down those gore nests. Like, a lot of people wouldn't want to put text there to be too direct.
Yeah.
But I like how he doesn't leave it up to guesswork. He just tells you straight up, this is how you take down the gore nest.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Like he did. I think he learned a lot from when he was doing Tufil's Domain, and every time he was trying to his bosses, like he always. I remember, like, for the first time I played it, it always seemed like he had to kind of explain, like, at least one thing about every boss fight that people didn't pick up when they were first playing it.
Yeah, I
think he learned from that.
I hate having to stop and explain things to the player because it kind of ruins the flow of your map. But sometimes you just really got to do it.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's about finding that balance between, introducing a new style of play and making sure that people can pick up what that new style of play is supposed to be as quickly as possible.
And that exploding effect coming out of the gore nest too, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, I love the way he's done that. He spawns a Caco demon there and immediately.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the juicy bits thing. I actually when I started doing my SCFU and play videos, I used that same trick to make my character avatar explode at the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
but yeah, it's
how should you know this? Oh, sorry. How should you know this? But how exactly do you do it? You spawn the Caco demon, but then you kill it somehow? Like, how do you destroy it? That's the question.
You put a node on the destination, because every teleporter has a destination. Yeah, on the destination node, you put on arrival, kill the demon. And so, like, what happens is the instant the Keiko arrives at that point, it explodes. And just, and of course, when Keikos die, they throw blood chunks all over the place. So
They go.
yeah.
So that's why they're good for, like, gory kind of, just simulating destroying gore, kind of like that. Yeah.
Gosh,
Yeah.
you're making this look so easy.
You play it 100 times, it starts to kind of become easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I've played it 100 times, but maybe 2 or 3.
Maybe not 100, but I've played this. I can't count how many times I've actually played this, but I feel like I've learned the bulk of it.
Yeah.
This is actually the part.
First time I played.
And actually, yeah, same here.
I still remember way back in the day when I was the person that had the high score on this map. I had it for almost a week. And then Void Runner, who, like, we were friends at the time, but he still always felt the need to take everything beautiful away from me. He ended up coming in and breaking my score by about, like, 10 million points. And then like it just started this like points war.
Yeah.
And now there's like, you know, and I'm not sure who's currently sitting at the top of the pile, but yeah.
Some guy named WTF something.
Only one time have I ever been able to death roll this.
And putting
Only once.
making you fight 4 pinkies in a foggy room too. I mean, that's brutal, man.
Really, it's a pretty big room.
Pinkies swear.
Or 4 specters rather. I mean,
Now you get a lot of pinkies.
yeah. Now come the pinkies.
Oh.
I remember when Z-Man got pretty upset when I did something similar to the.
To what was this?
I did something similar to this when I first got you to do something, but I'll tell you. I'll remind you later.
I love how they just bite the air and walk closer to you. That's always
This
kind
is
of
a pretty fun section.
Well, the reason I think the reason why this one is as fun as it is because you do have enough room to move, and your fight with the specters. What the fight with the specters does is it helps you get familiar enough with the arena, where once you like really kind of pull off this part of the fight, you just feel like a total badass. Like this is really a good spot to be going Daisho, because you know you use your small shotgun to kind of like stop them so that they don't run you over, and that gives you the chance to flip over to the double shotgun, where if you point blank that, you're going to one-hit kill them. So you can juggle those pinkies pretty nicely in this arena, which is what makes this part so much fun.
Why
This is actually a brilliant.
overpowered.
This is a brilliant moment here.
Yeah.
This is a brilliant moment where he has the Cyber Mancubus coming out and that horde of imps going. You have 2 very different kinds of minions coming at you.
You've got them rushing forward and the Cybermank hanging back, just shooting at you from afar.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's really neat because you got to like sit there and like figure out a whole different like horde strategy.
It's like, who do I go
right
for
after
first?
dealing with one horde, you got another horde with completely different rules. It really is nice.
Yeah.
And this whole fight from the specters right to the Cybermank does test your knowledge of your loadout. It's really good.
Yeah, he doesn't let you get comfortable with a certain type of enemy. He just keeps throwing different stuff at you. You got to keep changing.
Yeah.
This is actually
well played for sure. Well played.
Yeah, this is a strategy of Taylorhead I've really been trying to adopt lately. And it's actually something I saw with Crash too, and it's just not really scaling the difficulty, but what Taylor does here is he creates like a series of situations, like in the next room there's a bunch of pinkies with a Hell Knight after ya or something, you know? He just creates different scenarios.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, that's like I noticed like with especially Pat with Chain Gun Tom, for example, a lot of folks are really into the boss rush concept, which I like. But one of the things I think I liked about No More Heroes was it wasn't just a straight boss rush. It had the points in between linking the boss fights that were really you know. It kind of every single one of these like encounters were designed to test something, you know, about the player's play style, and you know, but and sort of in keeping it fresh and interesting enough to get like right here. This is a traversal puzzle. Like after you just got done doing horde puzzles, now you're doing a traversal puzzle, and you know it's not impossible, but it's a nice little calm before the storm.
Yeah.
A little foreshadow of what's to come.
And I saw a guy get lost here and not know how to climb up, so he just quit.
Yeah.
That was me once.
Yeah.
One thing I really like, actually, is because I'm sure everyone here who has played this map has also played Tufel's Domain.
Oh, of course.
I think what I love is the amount of comparisons you can make between the 2 maps. For example, that Pinky fight that just happened seems like a homage to the Pinky fight in Tufel's Domain, only the Pinkies and Spectres were swapped.
You know what's funny? You know what's funny is that I Have Horus has more subscribers than Tufel's Domain has plays.
It tells you something.
You'd think if you subscribe to I Have Horus, you'd at least check out Tufel's Domain. Man, I hate this area. I love it, but I hate it also. So cool how he changes the floor like that. Gotta stay off the lava.
There was so much work in this
boss
room.
fight.
And you gotta balance on that beam, oh my god, while you're fighting.
Oh, you want to know something funny about that beam?
What?
I'm about to break some of the magic for you. Taylor confided in me once, and Taylor, if you're listening, I'm so sorry. I'm about to give away one of your greatest secrets. Taylor told me once that he's actually, if you look really close, he's actually got invisible, like blocking volumes on either side of those planks.
Oh, so you can't fall off?
Specifically
Oh, yeah, I think I've seen
No,
that
you
one.
can fall off, but you have to screw up so much to fall off those. But he said he purposely put it in there because he loves how every time anybody does one of those, they just feel like a total badass for pulling it off.
Oh,
So,
he had your ego.
No.
Badass.
On top of everything else, Taylorhead's psychology game is strong. Like I told you guys about how like the one boss fight in the one boss fight at the end, the chef Marvin Chef in Devil City Ransom. The fire in the center is psychological.
Yeah,
it doesn't,
the big beams.
You don't get hurt from
Yeah.
stepping on it. But I liked the idea of making players think they would. So Taylorhead has done that same trick, but in the opposite direction, where the player thinks they just did something really awesome, and Taylor just is like, yeah, let them think that.
That's awesome.
You know, he wants the player to feel awesome in this part of the map, and I totally respect that.
He's such a
That's
nice
pretty
guy.
insane.
Yeah.
Unlike some of us who go out of our way to punish the player.
Exactly. How many designers do you run into that are all like, you know what? I want the player to feel awesome here. You know, like everybody always wants to like kick the player's ass, and I'm just like, why is such an adversarial relationship with the player?
I know.
Taylorhead, you can tell Taylorhead loves players, man.
He does,
gives them all
yeah.
these challenges that are just slightly easier than you think they're going to be. Most of the freak out is on your part. You're freaking yourself out because you see there's like 8 frickin' like missile launching skeletons coming up your butt. But the fact is, you have always had the tools to deal with it.
Right.
You know, you just have to.
That's why. Yeah. Yeah, that's why Doom Eternal is going to be great, because it's like, what Taylorhead's doing with the psychology, the Doom Eternal is going to be doing that too. It's like, okay, always, as challenging as it is, always do things to make the player feel badass. And exactly, that's why it's going to rock.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
if you see how many times I end up dying later on, I don't feel too badass, but
This
Maybe badass, but not badass.
This map is totally designed to kick your ass later, but there you
yeah.
Oh yeah, totally.
Oh, we're gonna get
One
to-
boss in particular.
Yeah, we're gonna get to a boss fight that I consider to be one of the best in Snapmap.
Yeah, but see, the thing is that like the key to that, the everything being so difficult towards the end, is by this point you're invested. You're like, oh right, I gotta see this through because like by the time by the time the map is already kicking your ass, you're like, okay, you know what? I'm effectively immortal. I'm gonna get to see the whole thing anyway.
Right.
So you tough it out. And you know, like anybody that doesn't tough this map out really just doesn't know what they're missing. Because you know, that's one of the things that's great about this map is it's designed around the fact that you will eventually beat it. You know,
Yeah.
like all you have to do is keep trying. You will eventually beat it. You know, it's you know, but it doesn't feel that way while you're in the moment. That's the brilliance. You know.
Yeah.
Why you tripping so much, Crash? It's supposed to be badass.
Am I?
Yeah, come on, step it up.
Yeah. Hey, you're the mountain goat. You're not the one falling.
Last SnapCast, we all said that we would just like
It was just
poke fun at his play. Like,
Oh yeah, I remember that last
yeah,
time.
let's just do that.
Who's that?
JR, you're playing actually really good.
what the.
I remember.
Oh yeah, the friggin' grenade glitch. Oh my god, I hate
Yeah.
it.
Just hanging there.
How does
Yeah.
that?
Oh no, much
how
like
did
this.
that happen?
I remember one time I threw that grenade at the Cybermank while it was dark, and now I have just this big orange glowing Cybermank around.
Oh yeah, I've run into that glitch before. I actually
Yeah.
kinda like it. I think it's kind of cool.
Kind of freaked me out the first time. I was like, what the hell's happening?
Yeah, basically.
I would say the brilliance of this arena is just this arena is brilliant.
Oh yeah.
Just so many places to
work.
climb, so many places to recover. You know,
Mhm.
it works.
Yeah.
The not so balancing beams. I like that's a good. That the way that not so balancing beams work is good too.
Yeah. And also, it's hard to realize that there's a pattern to like the way the things that are happening in the arena and stuff. Like I know that it took me at least 3 or 4 playthroughs to really be clear on.
All right, everybody,
the fact that
look away from your computer screen for a second, because
oh, why is that? Are you about to do something awesome? Oh.
I did look away, by the way. No, I had to.
Thank you.
Alright.
Thank you for the soundboard.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yep.
See, this is really just a me thing, but I've always had trouble keeping decals on non-static parts for some reason. It just doesn't work with me.
Oh, you mean like anything that's got its
Like, he's got that lava thing that appears and disappears, and he has walls on top. I cannot manage that for some reason.
I know there's a trick to it. I wish I could remember what it was.
I don't think it's decal.
Oh no, they're decals, I recognize.
Yeah, they're decals.
Yeah.
There is a way to do it.
Right there.
Like, well, yeah, I mean.
Well, if you look how thick that blocking volume of the floor is, it goes up pretty high. So if you make the decal thin enough, it shouldn't stick to the ones beneath it, I would think.
Yeah.
Because usually what happens is if I make a block like that disappear in a map, then that decal just doesn't come back.
Well, you remember the mech from Psychotron where it's shooting those lasers? Those are just decals on blocking volumes.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know why, I can never figure that out. But anyway, enough
That was colored.
of that.
It's a laser.
More hardcore, or more like balancing. Have you ever thought about joining the circus? You're really good at balancing like that.
Yeah.
Well, people always told me I was a freak, so maybe you're onto something.
You can call you the goat that crashes or something.
They should have a Doom Eternal Circus. That should be a Snapmap. A Doom Eternal Circus. They can have pulling a bunny head out of a hat. They could have a Cannonball Doom guy.
You mean like
They could have a lot of things, really. They could have juggling pinkies. I don't know, whatever. The panel. They can't do the panel in Snapmap, but you can do other stuff. Yeah, the other stuff I mentioned. Yeah.
Shades, we are getting a Cannonball Doom guy. If you saw it.
I know, Doom Eternal, yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay.
I love
That's
how
why the whole circus show comes from. Doom guy is the human cannonball. Yeah. And you can pull the bunny out of the hat, or the bunny's head out of the hat, ouch. Or out of the helmet, Oh, you're right, Daisy. Yeah.
I love how, with the amount of weapons that you have here, there's almost, Taylorhead doesn't even need to hesitate with how many enemies he throws at you.
Well, yeah. I mean, a lot of that's going to be a function of just how it's actually pretty easy to run across ammo in this map. You never have to worry too much about ammo starvation unless you truly are wasteful. Yeah, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. But I probably can't do that. Yeah.
You know what's funny about this? You know what's funny about this Doom in general is you have to reload your grenades, but not your weapons.
Yeah.
Charge him.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, charge him.
He's going Daisho.
Here we go.
This room has frustrated me with those multipliers.
Oh yeah, there's
Oh
one
my
that
goodness.
just drives me crazy.
Yeah,
this
was the one. This was the room that, like, every time I was trying to 100% this map, this was the room that was giving me the most problems. I think this was the one where I found the very last one. And I can't remember who it was I was watching that played it, but they managed to get the one that I was always missing, and I was like, holy shit,
Yeah.
Like, I can't remember who it
jump
was.
across
That guy right there.
Jesus. Tops.
Yeah.
I think it's one at like the corner or something, and then you jump top that one. I know there's like a piece of glass or ice within one of the buildings. Oh, I see what you did there with the light. Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I saw him.
And visually, this map jumps. Visually, this map jumps around a lot, but it's actually a good thing considering how much how long these battles go for him.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother me the fact that you jump so much.
Oh, you skipped an entire encounter there.
Did I?
You did. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a fight that happens there when you grab the life bubble thing.
Oh.
Oh,
A whole
yeah.
bunch of Spinkies and some Hell Knights come out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I don't think they're required, so I don't think that did anything.
Well, I mean, yeah, you can. It's skippable. It's optional, but I mean, you know, like I said, I ran this thing like I've probably run this map at least 2 to 3 dozen times when I was like trying to like high score it, and yeah, so like that's the only reason I picked that up.
Oh, and Kane, everybody, my favorite Snapmap character of all time. I love.
Oh, that's a person. Kane's actually like
Yeah.
what's someone in
Just spank
Taylor's
him.
life. You know, this is kind of him, kind of like honoring, family.
Yeah.
Oh,
Not in like a depressing way or anything. Just.
I just thought Kane was some really cool dude that he made. I loved Kane.
I think it's his boy actually. I don't know if he's comfortable with me saying that.
I like what he did with the torture racks. It's so cool.
Yeah.
You don't see
Yeah.
people use the torture racks very often. But they look good here.
The other thing I really like is like this is the first point at which the general mood of the map changes. You know, like he goes from the like all the cold ice kind of areas and stuff.
Torture area.
Right.
Yeah. So now we're in the torture area.
Yeah, the themes
and
changed a lot.
Like the fact that he not only changed the look and feel of the map, but he also changes the skyboxes and all that stuff. And
Smoothly.
yeah. I still remember. Oh, Taylor got so mad at me one time. He saw me playing this part of the map, and he saw me exit through the door that I came in.
Yeah. Oh, you managed to
And,
do it
like-
before it closed?
Yeah, no, well, that was the reason why he closes that off now is because during one of my playthroughs, I purposely like I set myself up so that I grabbed the key and then ran immediately out this way and came to this hallway. That area you just passed through right there, I was using that as a bottleneck.
Oh, nice.
And so like they couldn't touch me, and I was just sitting there kabam, 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 and I ended up getting huge points off it. And he was so mad that he like completely changed the way that part of the board works.
I'm always
Just
playing
walks through the stars.
Oh yeah, I was playing it live once while he was watching after he made the change, and oh my god, he was so smug after he got to that part. He didn't tell me. He didn't tell me. He let me like get caught with it, and like.
Oh shit. I remember I was have a playthrough. I have like a double feature playthrough of his 2 maps on YouTube, and of course the first part was 2000 Domain. And when I got kind of the final part, I actually noticed like there was a big chunk of his skybox leading into the grid room. Yeah, so I kind of pointed that out too.
Oh my god.
Those gears on the
Wall
wall
of gears, everybody.
look so
Those
good.
are crazy, man.
Yeah, I like that. I like the gear pattern. It's very surreal.
Yeah,
In a way.
well-
Why is that there?
I see JR liked it too.
Yeah. I gave it the
This
whole
gives me
thumbs
like
up.
a very this gives me like a Zelda dungeon vibe. This location,
Kind of.
Yeah.
at least to me.
I never knew where half of these multipliers were when I played. Dang.
I like that little transition. He
yeah.
changes into his...
Yeah.
Nice.
That was nice.
Yeah.
That's cool.
amazing.
I like that transformation. He beams up, becomes a soldier. Yeah.
See, he even
yeah,
does something.
there's,
He even does something clever with something like an AI path point, like with what he did
Yeah.
right there.
Well, the next change is the one that I'm a huge fan of, where he changes him into the security dork, and like then you start using his shield as a moving cover point.
Oh yeah, that's one of my
Once you
favorite
get him all
scenes
the way.
too.
That's so smart. That's so smart.
Yeah. The only thing is in this one, I think I'm in another room, so I don't see
Oh, this
that
was the
happen.
first. This area had the first like multiplier. I was super happy that I found.
Yeah.
I was so proud to find this.
Oh, they jump out.
The funny thing out of all this is that you get past this section and he even has like a little how the geo is not done and stuff. It's like,
Yeah.
You've done enough, man.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I remember, way back in the day when, like, the whole area was just, oh, yeah, I had this idea for a thing to put here, but I decided not to, so just take a break and look at all the pretty tombstones.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
he told me about
Just throwing lost souls
Taylor
at
had
you.
told me about some of the stuff he wanted to add in, but it was just taking up too much.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Sorry?
Yeah, you can see the way he uses his geo. He's very economical with the geo. Nothing's wasted, you know.
Oh yeah, true. That is true.
Trying to save as much of that memory as he can.
There's too much to learn from Taylorhead when you're making a snap map.
Oh yeah, and the thing is, you end up wanting to do all of it. And you really like, then you come to realize as you're doing it, you're like, oh, this is why Taylorhead only has like 3 maps.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely, custom geo takes time.
Yeah.
Even if you add more details, it's just like, okay, I know how to use it. I know how to do things to maximize my time and make me better time. But it still takes a lot of time. It's not like just putting, the rooms down in the account. But you gotta position things, make sure the AI works, all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's not just the geo too. Like each room has its own mechanics and its own way that it's unique.
Yeah.
Each room plays different.
Unique, and that's what I really like about this map. Each room is somewhat unique from each other. I mean, they're in different sections, but each room is unique.
Well, that's the thing. Like, one of the things that I feel like everybody's almost afraid to bring up is that Doom Snapmap only has so many enemies in it, and it's pretty easy to exhaust them after a while.
Right.
The thing that takes a good snap map and makes it a great snap map, like I have Horus, is that he takes those ways that all of the enemies are always going to respond the same all the time, and finds different ways to implement it,
Yeah.
and that's really, that's the brilliance of studying a Taylorhead map, is that you're trying to you're supposed to, what you're supposed to see there is you're supposed to see, okay, so we've fought pinkies a million times, but here's this new way of fighting pinkies that we're being shown here, like that's
Favorites.
and I'm pretty sure you weren't supposed to do it that way, but
Yeah.
That's why I'm the Billy Goat. The Billy Goat wins.
One of my favorites from Taylorhead is his exploding horde imps. I love those.
Yes. Holy exploding ones.
And I'm so glad that because he knows this is a long map, he actually put in this little break area for you to, go to the bathroom or get some food or whatever.
Yeah. It's like I said, Taylorhead is so good. And, Shades, there you are.
Hey!
There you are.
Shades.
Wait, what the I'm in here, I'm dead! Oh shit!
Count Lazuli.
Hey, you're a count, so...
Oh shit!
Wow, there you are.
I didn't know he put me in here. Thanks. Oh shit! Nocturnal.
Two Fulls Domain. Yes, please do play it. It's just as good.
Absolutely.
Bubbles. My cat's named Bubbles. I have a cat named Bubbles.
Yeah. High scores are a big part of these Taylorhead maps. It's all about, it's like a classic arcade game. All about score.
Yeah.
And the guy that couldn't make it.
Yeah.
The juice
Psychotic Knight himself.
Oh, he's no longer Psycho Knight.
Oh, I wonder how
8 Live Studio now.
Hey, 36 million used to be the high score. Those were the days.
Yeah, right?
Use.
Uh-oh. What?
Whoa!
Oh, he launches you in the air.
Right.
Oh.
Be honest, did anyone ever kill all of them?
I have, and there's a reason why he launches you all in the air. Like, the reason why he does the launch now the way he did is because I actually, on one of my playthroughs, I think it was my Shut the Fuck Up and Play one, I actually managed to claim the largest multiplier because what I did, what I did was I pulled out the rocket launcher, and I clicked the thing and then immediately took 2 steps, like jumped backwards, and when they all spawned up, I aimed one of them with a rocket, and I got them all with the splash damage.
Oh, nice.
So I didn't take any damage from the Dwaynes.
Rest in peace to that goat that died.
Dancing on my own grave there. The name I don't go by anymore.
I remember that,
Yeah.
Big dog next to the goat.
Oh God, what's been going on with him?
Man.
Yeah.
Washed up.
Washed up?
Washed up.
Okay, I feel like, man, you'll really...
He got so mad at me when I teabagged his plasma.
Plasma. Yeah.
I look at some of these mausoleums.
Yeah.
I wish I could explore them.
This is like the coolest way to do shout-outs to, other Snapmappers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I like it when people do it in a
like
clever way instead of just like a sort of, here's a list of people,
Yeah. Like, you actually end up going around looking for all these people. And then you sit there, and the nice thing too is, like, as a new Snapmapper, you kind of look at this and you go, hey, there's a chance that, like, I could be, like, memorialized in somebody's map, and it makes you want to map even more,
And it's so cool that he actually made one of the graves a little secret Easter egg there, like with the lost souls.
Yeah.
Even though I hate it, because I hate freaking lost souls.
Well, yeah, Taylor was doing that specifically to mess with me, so...
It's funny, they did that in a game called Hexen. In Hexen, they had the great developers. I remember that in this hub. Yeah, that was pretty cool. Yeah.
This is back in the days when I used to rail really hard on people that put ganks in their maps, and and so he put that gank. He put what he felt was like the biggest gank ever in the map as a way to thumb his nose. Taylorhead and I have an interesting relationship.
So, what you've probably noticed with the dialogue here is the mastermind tried to do rituals. So what Taylor had told me was he was actually going to have a room here with like a bunch of candles and shit that the mastermind was using. But that's one of the things he took out. For space.
Whoa.
Yeah, so this kind of sucks because I'm in the wrong room. I should be behind the guy with the shield. So I'm not really showing off one of the coolest parts of this map, where you get to follow the sentinel.
Yeah.
Or the sentry guy.
Yeah,
down the hallway.
Marker, you better go.
Yeah.
He just goes off on his own.
Even in the aerospace.
Yeah.
Dude, you just went backwards in this area.
Yeah.
Look at that infrastructure on the outside. Like, that just looks so natural.
Yeah. No, he did a great job on building this area.
But this little blue hallway made such an impression on me. That's I used a little bit of that as the aesthetic for some of the rooms in Antivirus.
Yeah, I can see.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know who else likes to do this, or used to like to do this all the time, was Vlad.
Yeah.
Vlad Kaplinsky.
His stuff is
I miss
really
that
glowy.
guy.
Yeah.
He uses a lot of those glowing effects.
I miss his maps.
Unfortunately, we got to talk about Vlad Kaplinsky in the past tense. He deleted all his maps.
Did he really?
Oh man.
What?
Yeah.
No, not all of them. There's still Doomshock, remember?
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But why did he do that, man? He just decided to take his ball and go home?
I'm not sure exactly what happened. I understand maybe alcohol was involved, but I do know he was very upset about stuff, and he just pulled the plug on it. And you know what? The thing is, as an artist that has been similarly in my fields before, I completely understand it. And I don't hold him any ill will for it. It's just really unfortunate. But what it also means is that those of us that actually got to play Vlad Kaplinsky's maps, like the brilliance that was Vlad Kaplinsky, like what he unintentionally did was he basically created an era for like the old school Snapmappers,
Yeah.
So I'll always be thankful for that.
He actually made one of my favorite Snapmap bosses.
Yeah, the Doomed series.
I know I downloaded 2 episodes of that, and I wish I downloaded all of them. I just wasn't able to get all of them before you.
Oh.
I actually only have one playthrough of one of his maps on YouTube. It's one of my favorite bosses of his. It's the Great Overseer from Doomed 4.
Yes.
The giant black knight.
Yeah.
I love that thing so much with a passion.
And at the end of the map, you end up seeing through his eyes.
Yeah, hey, where do you think I got
so
my
brilliant.
ideas, man?
Yeah.
Well, it's possible he didn't delete them from his hard drive, so he might upload them again someday. Who knows?
Yeah, I have a feeling that might not actually be possible. The last discussion I had with him led me to believe that might not be a possibility. I've been looking for a way to tastefully honor the Doomed series in some way, and since I don't build Snapmaps as much as I used to, like originally I wanted to do a song on my album. The problem was that my beats guy didn't come up with anything that worked with it. So, like, I'm going to take another pass at it for the next album, but, like, I'm really upset that I didn't get a chance to put the Doomed thing on the first album. So.
Yeah, I remember playing Doomed 4, and then at the end how you see from his eyes, and I looked at that like, that could be turned into something. And
I like that he put a little puzzle.
This is one of the best parts.
This puzzle right here.
God damn, I love it.
I love this puzzle.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of like some question you'd have to do in like an aptitude test, you know?
Yeah. I have so much fun with just a second.
I love the colors. The bright purple and the bright green. That just goes so well in a weird way.
It's got those crazy sound effects with the shots.
Nice.
Oh, look at the colors!
God damn it, Bob.
Wow, you made it look so easy.
The first time I did it, I didn't know what was going on, so I just failed it.
Yeah.
I traded in all my multipliers.
Hopkins is secretly a genius.
Oh. Well, now you know how to solve it for realsies.
Yes, I know that for my next playthrough.
Yes.
Oh my god, okay, can we, just a moment, you guys have seen Taylorhead's run through of what was supposed to be the sequel to this, Temple of Osiris? No?
Oh, I saw it, yeah. It was supposed to be
Holy shit.
It's on his YouTube. But there was supposed to be a sequel.
Crazy.
He started making a sequel to Eye of Horus, but because of the PlayStation bug, he wasn't able to ever publish it.
Oh.
That cursed PlayStation bug.
Oh, no!
Yeah.
Oh, here's another foreshadow, by the way, to the coming boss. I love that. A little subtle and foreshadow, you know, you just put in two little chords and then this happens.
And here comes...
the mastermind.
Again, that's one thing I like about this map. You know, before each major boss, there's some kind of, like, subtle hint to what you're gonna have to do.
Mm-hmm.
Mastermind is not the boss that frustrates me every time I play this. It's the one after him, and I'm not gonna spoil it.
Yeah.
You know.
It's kind of funny, this map has, like, two main bosses. It's got, like, the mastermind and then, Ra.
Thou shalt not...
Ra and Horus. Yeah, no, Ra is the one that pisses me off the most, and that's because Taylorhead, sometimes... okay, so real quick, my thought about the Ra, the thing that makes the Ra fight really unique is, first of all,
you
this
don't like
is
being
awesome
blinded.
pointing out that this is actually a prequel to Tupel's Domain.
Yeah.
But the thing that I hate about that is about the Ra fight. There's a line from it's Jurassic Park, you know, where it says you discovered you could do a thing, but you never stopped to think should you, or whatever it was. You know that
Jeff Goldblum, yes.
Yeah, the Jeff Goldblum line where he's like, you know, you spent some time wondering if you could do it, you didn't stop to think should you do it.
And now you... Where like every time you like hit him, he like glares for like 3 seconds.
Oh god, my eye.
Taylorhead figured out how to make the glare happen on purpose.
You know, it's funny, Z-Man, because whenever I'm in Snapmap and I'm going through the filter...
You what? You cut off after you said about going to the filter.
Whenever I'm in Snapmap and I'm scrolling through filters that would work, I'm trying to avoid the ones that might have...
Yeah, you're trying to avoid the ones that give people headaches.
Well, particularly you. I haven't heard anyone else kind of complain about headaches.
Because I'm migraine prone, so like I'm a good person to talk to about that. Yeah, but
yeah, it's a cool effect, but it is a little bit annoying.
Yeah.
The computer room. Put it in the computer room. Yeah.
I want that out of Snapmap. Night vision effect. Please take it out. I don't like.
Oh my god.
Give me headaches.
All of the like, you know, take all of the light out, and because the way that filter, if I'm not mistaken, the way it works is It's basically like taking all the luminosity out and replacing all of the light colors with a single color. And when it does that, it completely kills the glory kill effect, because it requires it basically like the glory kill effect is just rapidly turning the luminosity on and off.
Now, can I
already tested that, please?
Yeah.
Can I just point out for a second how badass this room looks?
Oh my god, yes.
This is one of the best looking rooms in the entire map.
Oh yeah.
Now, we're a bit ahead of it, but when you enter this room, Taylorhead put in the campaign dialogue of, you should have not allowed his location to be discovered. You have failed us. And I love how he used that to describe how you found Kane.
Yeah.
And set him free. I thought that was such a sweet little use of campaign dialogue.
Yeah, Taylorhead's one of the few people that's actually like figured out how to use the campaign dialogue in a meaningful way. Without basically just copying the campaign itself. It's just it's pretty cool and unique to be able to do that.
It's brilliant how a Taylorhead map can feel so different based on how you play. The first time I played, I kept on dying and I kept G ammo with respawn so I could just shoot them all. But when I'm trying to do a no death run, it's a whole other system.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's always a good idea is to be like, okay, what's your strategy going in? How are you trying to high score it? Are you trying to do a no death run? What are you trying to do?
Usually they're about one and the same, so.
Well, true. Yeah, I mean, you're not going to get a high score run unless you basically do a no death run, because it's. But at the same time, it's like, if you're trying to just do no death without doing a high score, it's going to be a little different. Maybe it's within your first like 5 or 6 times playing it, you're really just trying to like study and memorize all the various areas to figure out what tactics work and what don't. You're a little open to making mistakes.
Yeah, this map's really all about just sort of guarding that score multiplier and just holding it as long as you possibly can. Because this map's a lot of fun if you approach it with that in mind. But if you're getting in just wanting to blast through a map and shoot demons, then this can get a little frustrating if you're not focused on that multiplier. It really is the whole key to the map. It's all based on your score,
Yeah. Like one thing Z-Man that he was going to have in his sequel map was called a freeze token, where for a brief amount of time it would kind of pause your score so it couldn't be touched. So you could just go hammer something.
If I remember correctly, Duck, Beats by Duck, had a what's his name on Snapmap? IDDQ Drew. He had that one really awesome Snapmap that he did that used the freeze tokens to freeze the multipliers, and you kind of needed him too because he also put in the enemies that could chew up your multiplier. So
I'm familiar with him.
He's a fighter. IDDQ Drew, he's the guy that like does all the maps with Paracorn Forth in them, and he's got really good ideas in his maps, and I don't want to go too far into that direction because we're seeing the exploding cacos effect.
Yeah, and this is one of the best ways to use it to blowing up chunks of brain.
That brain look extra squishy. Yeah.
One of the most memorable moments of this map.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh, ice brain. Yeah.
The work is just so crazy.
Yeah.
Not only is this beautiful geo, but it's very too. It doesn't get in the way of gameplay.
Function and form. Yeah.
Yeah.
That brain must have a brain. Sorry, that brain must have a serious case of brain freeze. Honestly, like just being a block of ice like that. Like what the hell?
That's like honestly the one thing I wasn't super crazy about with his choice of having it, because it really does look like ice, but it's supposed to be a force field, and
yeah.
It looks like ice, and it's like I feel like
maybe a different kind of texture or something for it.
Well, I mean, one of the things in Snapmap is that you you got to learn how to pick your battles, you know. And I feel like in Taylorhead's case, that was him picking his battle right there.
Slow-mo Dwayne.
Yeah, slow motion.
Yeah, that was neat.
Dwayne is a pain, and that is the truth.
Yep.
How about a Dwayne that you can't kill somehow? That his health regenerates like super fast. That would be annoying. That's a gank and a half.
Oh god, you were gonna scare me there, JR. I thought you were gonna use your friggin' BFG ammo on that one.
I've done that before.
Sacrilege.
That'd be a good name for a video game or even just a snap map. Sacrilege.
There is I think it's by Spindleshanks.
Oh, how you like that?
Oh, I'm sure there's a map out there with that name.
Yeah.
Doesn't Spindleshanks sound like a kind of spider? That name, Spindleshanks. It sounds like a spider.
It does kind of sound like that.
Yeah,
Spindleshanks spins his web upon Snapmap.
He's a spider in my map antivirus. He's an Easter egg.
Yeah?
Hiding in the vent.
Found him.
Where is he hiding?
In the vent.
Oh, in the vent?
Yeah.
Is that like a reference?
Nope. It's just a place to put a spider.
I gotta say one thing though about the custom geo in this area in particular. I'm one of those people who are like big into like story reasons for how stuff is like the way it is. Why is like I never understood why he had random teleporters of enemies on the wall.
Oh,
I just
well,
never understood.
I mean, the mastermind, if you look at all the way the wires and stuff are hooked up, that's the mastermind's machine that he uses to make his cronies.
Well, that's how he literally has a demon oven.
Yeah, he's baking them.
Next batch, begin.
Yeah. And also, you know, this is an interesting way for him to deal with the 12 AI limit as well.
Right.
Like, just basically have all these cool insta hordes come up, you know.
It's a beautiful effect though, having them run out of the fire. Like those walls open up and they just run out.
Yeah, you can tell like he's kind of like delayed just one at a time, so they all epic row.
Those are invincible, aren't they?
I think I think so.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
I got a little
I think he put
confused
it on, like, a health
at this
timer.
part for a minute because I'm like, there's a lot of you have to do involving grabbing cores, and I was like, I don't remember this.
Yeah.
Remember a couple times I was kind of playing around with this boss. I tore out the core and it caused a big explosion and sound. And I just put it back in, tore it out again, the same happened.
Whoa! Wow!
I'm so glad I was able to walk out of there.
Actually, I experienced
If I got
something
stuck in there,
similar to this boss.
that would suck. Awesome
Man
sound.
I actually never knew you could do that. Dang.
Yeah.
I love that
Neither
pipe
did
work on the
I've
wall.
never
man.
seen that one before.
Well, actually, a situation like that happened to me with this map later on, but because of that, I'll tell you about it later. I'll tell you about when we get the final boss, what happened to me. In fact, I have it on my YouTube.
The meanest final boss I've ever played. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, hey, there we go. He found his own.
There we go.
I almost danced off.
There we go.
Crap. I had this urge to retool my Christmas special map into something that's a little bit different and re-release it. I should do that. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a whole thing. I had a village and everything in it. So yeah, Christmas village, yeah.
I can't remember if that electricity damages you up there.
I don't know, but I've never tried. I was too scared to lose my multiplier.
Yeah. And who knows how fast you'd lose it.
Yeah.
The answer is very.
I should have an in-joke in a snap map or even a story where I have a character, you have a wall outlet, and then you're supposedly holding a fork, and you want to get the sensation. But in the snap map, it actually give you like a multiplier or a power-up. Because, you know, you're sticking a fork in an electric outlet. In real life, don't do that. Disclaimer, do not do that in real life, yet.
Yeah, kids, don't do that in real life. It will not give you a multiplier.
Good PSA.
No reason to buy with it.
There's just like some high school kid, like I don't know, like that, like, athletic high school kid who's, like, climbing a building or something. It's like, no, wait, get down from there. No, there's a score multiplier at the end.
Oh, man.
Nice use
Yeah,
of
I
those
can imagine.
bikes.
Like, people make their dares and stuff. Like, especially people like who are teenagers. They'll make dare. I'll dare you to do this, and it'll just be like the stupidest thing ever. Nobody with common sense would do, but they'll do it. It's like, oh, let's climb an overpass or so. I don't know. Whatever it is. Yeah.
So that's supposed to be a force field, right? I always thought it was like a bowl. I always thought it was a bowl.
There it is, a bunch of red barons.
Yeah, seems like an appropriate time to use my BFG.
The red.
I don't know. Aren't the Cybermanks about to come out?
That's why I was trying to get. I was trying to get that BFG ammo
It's the pappy.
that I got slapped
I
down.
bet you one of those barons was Tim Curry.
Oh, from Legend.
Curry, good voice acting.
Yes.
The demon from Legend. The only redeeming part of that movie, by the way.
I actually really
See, I thought you were talking about his role in the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
No, I was talking about Legend.
I see you shivering with anticipation.
No, the Baron of Hell. Through dreams, he influences mankind.
Yeah, that's Baron von Frankenfurter.
Tim
Then
Curry
we
is
have,
Skullmaster? Or is
And then
Nigel?
we have what looks like a bunch of xenomorphs with their tails shoved up to make a thicker spine.
Oh, wow.
At least that's the way I see them.
Yeah, I don't like that in Doom 2016. I don't know. It's just, I don't know.
We'll see. The Hell Knights are by far my favorite enemy to fight. Honestly, I love doing the shotgun dance with them. It's so much fun.
Oh yeah.
Especially
You're gonna love the Dread Knights from Detroit. They're gonna be great. Sorry, the Dread Knights, yeah.
I always love that name, by the way, Dread Knights.
Do the Dread Knights have a projectile?
I don't know.
I don't think they do. I think they just function a lot like the Hell Knights. Where the Fire Barons with the swords, they have a red projectile, so they function a lot like the Barons here in 2016. I think they mainly just look different, so they probably are basically the same monster.
By the way, guys, I just want to say something. What's going on here is wrong. I know it looks like he's killing demons, but these are just a bunch of overweight kids wearing VR headsets, okay?
No.
Glass
He
cannons.
doesn't realize what he's doing here.
Does this bring back any memories?
Yeah.
AK fat person.
It will be in
walk,
Doom
fat
Eternal.
person, fat
Oh my God, Tony! Oh wow, yeah, no, I remember that map. Do you know Oh yeah, Fat Guy Massacre. Yeah, you know the creator that actually reached out to me and was like, "That wasn't supposed to happen." I'm like, you didn't know about this glitch until somebody did a video of your map.
What? Oh yeah.
Like, wow.
And his multiplier went from like 60 to 2.
Yeah, so this is usually the part where I like if I'm gonna bomb, this is the part I usually bomb at too. I'm not gonna lie. That's that for some reason 12 like those 12 cyber demons that are cyber manks at that point are a real bear to deal with.
Yeah.
He spawned 12 cyber demons.
I wish Snapmap had a Cyber Demon, but one that looked like the Eternal Cyber Demon, not the 2016 one. I like the Eternal design better.
I'm sorry, Eternal Cyber Demon looks goofy. I'm sorry, he looks.
Okay, so it's not just me. I don't know. I was personally.
From the neck down, his head just looks so goofy. I don't like it.
You'll learn to love it.
Yeah.
Dude, Crash, you're not gonna get me to love it.
You'll learn to love it.
No way, man. 2016 Balgar for life.
Well, the same for the Doom 2016 Cyber Demon. I said, wow, this looks goofy. But over time, I learned to love it.
Yeah, true. So you never know.
I don't know.
That's not a Cyber Demon. That's a Tyrant. You gotta.
I can accept kind of
differentiation.
I can accept that. But I refuse to believe that the big armored monster that looks like it's gonna rip your ass out and eat it is replaced with Like, I know people like it for the nostalgia, but it looks like... It just kind of looks like a cowman to me. Its leg.
Well, they went back to the animalistic aesthetic of the original Dooms, which I kind of prefer, honestly, because I think in 2016 they look more like space aliens, kind of. And yeah, I like the original design more, personally.
Yeah, I can see that. Maybe the cow demon should have had more like charge and stuff jutting out of like the 2016 Cyber. Maybe that would have remedied some of the issues people had.
Yeah.
I personally do like it, but maybe having more of the chitinous shards still in him, maybe that would have. I don't know. Yeah, that's just my 2 cents.
I guess I'm just kind of a chitin freak.
I don't know. I was kind of hoping with Doom 2016. I was hoping they'd take like the demons and like what Dante's Inferno did, tried to make them look horrifying and stuff. That's what I was kind of hoping for, but I still kind of like the designs.
Wait, is this the last of the batch right here of the Barons?
Yeah, I think this is the last.
I just checked, and we've been at this part for something like 3.5 hours. So yeah, we're almost there.
I feel like he could have edited this down a little bit.
Run out of power eventually.
Yeah.
Make no mistake, in real life, these demons would be really scary still.
Yeah, even though I'm not playing this part very efficiently, could have trimmed it down a little bit, I think.
Yeah, more health trying to dodge a Baron. Now he's
the devil here.
I think that Baron's invincible, just saying.
Oh, it is invincible. You have to shoot the brain. It's open. There's no ice cube there.
No.
Brain thought.
That brain is no longer on ice.
It's Krang.
Yep.
It's Krang.
Turtles.
Why? Yeah, you know, that is kind of... It does legit look kind of like a big-ass Technodrome, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It is a Technodrome.
Word.
Yeah, it's funny, my Helldrome from my Ethereal Shard map was inspired by the Technodrome. Fun
It would have
fact.
been such a love letter to me if there was an eyeball in that brain.
And look how fast the guts start going there. That's great.
This is a beautiful transition.
I love like the after
Yeah.
scene when it's like all blown to pieces.
Oh yeah.
And that's where you think the game is over. Victory. Not quite.
Oh my god.
In this room.
Oh,
I know what you're about to say. I know what you're about to say, Z-Man. I know it. You stuck in the back, didn't you?
Oh, yeah, you remember that?
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, where I almost had to friggin' 86 the playthrough because I got stuck behind invisible walls.
Oh yeah.
I'd been playing for like an hour and a half at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
Now we're getting to one of the.
I didn't realize you had to go through the
smoke.
You just teleported you to a different room of reality, I would say, right? Yeah, it's just a new room of reality, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, Patrick, what were you gonna say?
No, it's fine. We're about to get to that one boss. That was just like, I don't know if I'm really too thrilled about. I don't like fighting this guy every playthrough.
Okay, this is where my intestines explode at the sight.
Yeah.
Oh no, this is awesome.
That's a new one. Intestines.
Yeah. My big glowing yellow intestines explode here.
Jumping around with the themes again, which I actually really enjoy because can you imagine how long this map would feel if he didn't change up the themes?
Right? Exactly.
Yeah.
It feels all just like an ice thing.
I love this trick here with the fire brazier.
Yeah.
I love the little Easter egg with the hot air balloon.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I love that.
Everything about this room is like it's like the next room is so awesome that it needed a room this awesome to prepare you for how awesome it is.
I think this room was referenced in Twofold's Domain, if I remember
It was
correctly.
the final boss.
No,
room had like a
the
mini
final
boss.
boss room. Yeah, there's a room in Twofold's Domain now where you can see the Eye of Horus room.
Now,
That
fun
wasn't
fact.
always there? I thought that was always there.
Fun fact is, Taylorhead, he said in a stream that he had an earlier version of this snake and you were supposed to come out of its mouth.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he said he tried to do something more with that snake, but didn't work out for some reason.
Real quick, did anybody notice how he was using textures there to show you where to do your climbing?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Is it like Taylor? Like I said, his psychology game is so on, you know. And it's funny too because he was using the exact same texturing language as Darkstalkers, or not Darkstalkers. What was it called? Where in the first one you're war, in the second one you're death, and the third one you're fury. Darksiders. Yeah. So that's the same visual language they use in Darksiders.
I love Darksiders.
The parts you can climb on are covered in skulls.
Look at this.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah. The iconic end room.
Oh,
The
And how
Egyptian
many
room.
people lost their minds when they saw that pyramid
shit.
for the first time?
Now, a while ago, I made a Snapmap poster. There's a reason why the Eye of top.
Yeah.
Well, it's amazing how he got that shadow though on the he got that shadow on the pyramid to make it look 3D.
Yeah. Just absolutely brilliant. It would not surprise me to find out that he started with the pyramid and then just built the rest of the map around that.
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah, to make the pyramid, you just have a gigantic square blocking volume, right? Then you rotate it the right way. That's what I would guess. That's one way to do it.
Well, no, that's exactly what he's doing. And the thing is, too, that sometimes the way he's got the blocking volume going into the ground like that, that's actually that's actually a risky thing to do with your design, because a lot of if you're not careful, that can blink on you, you know. So the fact that he managed to find a perfectly stable spot to put it, there's so many layers of being able to pull that off, you know. With it, it's the simplicity is great, of course, but it's some of the act of actually making it so that it stays in there in a stable fashion and isn't constantly blinking throughout the entire map. You can tell Taylor just spent a lot of time on that.
Oh yeah. Now I think this is the time where I should mention, said I would earlier. You guys remember the part where you jump on a launch pad to reach the other tower, but then Horus tries to block you as he jumps?
Yeah.
You guys remember that part?
You'll see it.
You'll see it later, but anyway, I go on the launch pad, it throws me up, but then I hit something, and I get thrown into that outer fence area of the arena, so I get stuck there where I'm not supposed to be.
Oh, man.
Wow.
It's on my video, actually.
Rocket yourself until
Whoa,
Yeah.
so slow, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'll tell you, man, there are several frustrating things that can happen in this part of the map, and all of them are made 3 times as frustrating by the fact that even on your fastest playthrough, it's taken you at least an hour and a half to get to this point.
Right, you're invested.
I just don't like this. No offense to the map maker, I just don't like this boss. It's so annoying to me. I'm sorry. I don't like it as much as everybody else does.
I personally don't see it as much of a boss fight and more like an arena challenge, at least to me.
Yeah, it feels like a you know how when you're watching a fireworks display, and the last set of fireworks is always they just lit the entire bucket and stood back, you know, and so it's 20 minutes of chaos, just blah, 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 you know, that's what this part of the map feels like to me. This is the just the all right, time to throw everything at you. The mastermind board was there to throw controlled waves at you, but this one here, it just constant respawning and it's chaos at all times. And there are very specific strategies for dealing with it, but you're constantly going is what's going on there. You're just constantly on the move.
Yeah, there's nowhere to catch your breath.
It's amazing. Yeah. And again, it's one of those parts that makes you feel like you have all the tools for success, but at the same time, that's the best kind of maps. Those are the best kind of maps that are hard, but they're not hard because of balance issues. They're not hard because you don't have enough access to ammo or anything like that. When a map manages to give you every single tool that you could possibly need, and you still fuck it up, and it's your fault, that indignity on top of it is that's really what creates good challenge, good spicy challenge, you know?
Yeah, exactly. That's good gameplay. Versus artificial difficulty, you want your actual difficulty to kick in. You know, like you don't want too many ganks. Maybe once in a blue moon, a good gank is good, but otherwise, not really. Nah.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, it's so easy to just sit there and go, oh, you know, my map has these like bits in it that always fool the player. Well, yeah, maybe because you weren't giving the player a hint that it would happen or something like that. But if it's like this map never gives you any reason to believe that, you know, you are, you know, you should be able to expect everything you're seeing here. You know, like it does a good job of making sure that there are no, like, why did that happen? Every time I die in Eye of Horus, I know why I died. You know?
Yeah.
I know what I could have done differently.
The challenge is coming from a good place, not just frustration.
Yeah. Yeah, it's testing the skills you have. It's not expecting you to come up with new ones. You know. You know. But you know, that said, this part really does go on. I think a little longer than it has to. So.
Okay, that one tower that we're looking at, right? I am so in love with that spiraling tower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The way he's done that.
Yeah.
All these pillars, it just makes you wonder, like, even setting them to static, like, how does he have enough memory for all of that? It almost seems like he would run out of
Again,
space.
smoke and mirrors.
Yeah, there's only really so much smoke and mirrors you can do. I mean,
Right.
there are certainly efficient ways of doing certain things, you know, but, like, for instance, with those pillars, I'm pretty certain that each of those is really only, like, 3, maybe 4 blocking volumes stacked on top of one another. It's not too many.
Pretty much.
Yeah, so I mean,
It's actually quite a simple design.
Yeah, it is. So, like, a lot of the stuff that's going on here is pretty simple geometric design. And yeah, keeping it static is certainly helping out in the memory department. That said, I'm amazed at what he had to, how simply he had to work. It's probably also when you look at, I remember when Justin opened up Eye of Horus back when you could, and it's the whole map is just what, like 5 or 6 grid rooms, really. So he's not using nearly as many modules as a lot of folks use, but he's just cramming a whole bunch into them. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's that glow.
Yep.
That.
Put on your sunglasses.
I'm under that.
Yeah. He figured out how to make that happen on purpose, and I freaking hate it.
It's funny because when that was first happening to me, I didn't know what was going.
Yeah.
I was just like, is there something shiny somewhere?
Yeah.
I like custom geo. What I notice a lot about this map and a lot of custom geo maps is like a lot of it's like big arena rooms. I want to see more like a classic Doom type of, which happens, like, you know, like, I forgot the name of maps that have the classic layout, but like custom geo but in a classic layout kind of way. That's even harder to replicate because you have to learn more about the AI. Yeah.
I have a perfect example of classic custom geo maps. BAD Fluffy's classic maps are a perfect example of that, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's always a good approach. That and like painting existing modules so the AI can actually function on. But you actually redo the module so it looks completely different. Maybe even add a new wall or two, but you have the AI be able to go up on ledges fully and properly. I always like that kind of thing too.
Yeah, and I really liked that era when people were doing all
that's a cool part. That's a cool part of the boss.
No, I picked the wrong time to emote.
I love how that object in the sky is literally called the sun.
Well,
Yeah.
I like how he's changing the skyboxes. He went from the desert background to now you're in outer space.
Yeah.
Or the night theme.
Yeah.
Oh, and he's hiding
That's
the...
Arabian thing.
And he
And
hid
it's funny,
the
if you
pyramid
look really
too.
close, if you look really close, the way he's doing it is he's got the skyboxes for that placed like on the inside of the map there, rather than like
so it disappears the outer part.
Yeah, so like which actually I think is kind of weird. You know what? He probably disappeared the he probably disappeared the what do you call it, the pyramid on purpose because he was probably losing the shadow effect when he did the,
Oh yeah.
Probably.
because he would have had to drop a skybox below the natural lighting, and I wonder if maybe that was causing some problems with the shadowing. I'm just guessing. I don't know if that's really the case.
Yeah. Let us know in the comments, Taylorhead. Why'd you disappear your pyramid?
Oh, it's Taylorhead. He'll be in the comments.
Oh yeah.
He'll always be in your comments.
Yeah.
Even if I don't have that popular of a video, Taylorhead will be there.
Yeah. He was my first subscriber.
Was he?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
I probably wouldn't.
wow.
I probably wouldn't have kept making too many more YouTube videos if he hadn't.
Oh.
Because I was originally like, I'll just start a YouTube channel, make 1 or 2 Doom videos. No one will watch them, then I'll be done. That's why I let my girlfriend pick my my username instead of using the one that I needed.
Oh. But yeah, look at you now. A lot more better videos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Man, those Spinkies.
Wait, did you just call it a spinky?
I have my reasons. Why? You can say Spectre or Pinky. Why not just say Spinky?
That's what the multiplayer has. The
Ripped up.
Yeah, they essentially move the same. Yeah.
Listen, if Z-Man gets to have his Dwaynes, I get to have my Spinkies, okay?
Trust me, I don't want Dwayne's, but
No, you're getting Dwayne's.
I like how he
Make a
bounces you
match
around to
just to
different
fuck
launch
with you.
pads.
yeah, but you can't just make Rufus happen, okay? You gotta Rufus has to happen like organically, like.
What's Rufus again? I should know this.
You're not gonna climb that, JR.
Yeah,
Everyone tries to
Taylorhead
climb it.
spent a lot of time making sure that can't be climbed. I can't remember what movie it was from. I think it was from Never Been Kissed, but I could be wrong about that. But one of those like teen angsty movie kind of things. But there's this kid that's trying to start a trend where he starts calling everything Rufus. He's like, "That's so Rufus," and like keeps trying to make. And finally, at one point, during the movie, somebody goes, "Stop trying to make Rufus a thing," you know? Yeah. So, like, for me now, Rufus is like anytime somebody's trying to like manually start a trend, like you can't make Rufus happen. Rufus just happens on its own.
Wasn't Rufus George Carlin's character in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure? Or am I thinking of something else?
I think you might be right about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't it awesome that Taylorhead has all of these movies in it? Like, Taylorhead has all these movies in his map. That's really the only reason we've been talking about it during this part.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Taylorhead.
Yeah.
Your map sucks. It just has a lot of movie references.
Yeah, this a lot of Doom Eternal
Alright
talk.
then, I'm gonna watch a movie.
Well, he changes. Look
you know
how
what it is? You know what it is? It's like it's like we want to like get across just how awesome these maps are, but the problem is like, you know, with like other maps, you know, they go on for like 20-30 minutes, which is like even the best maps in the world. You have 20-30 minutes of material to talk about the best maps in the world. Taylorhead says, okay, now you got to talk through 2 hours, and you're just like, you know, it's awesome, but I don't know if I can praise its name for 2 hours.
Yeah.
I could give you 40 minutes of praise for Taylorhead, 45 in a pinch, but 2 hours, like.
Well, after being in the same module for 20 minutes, you know, the conversation starts to drift a little bit.
A little, and that's always, you know, that's always been my my feedback for Taylorhead is always that, you know, the Taylorhead maps are absolutely brilliant, and they prove that they're such great tech demos too.
And he speeds you up. Whoa.
And he, like, not only does he demonstrate everything a Snapmap can do, but he shows you some things you didn't even know a Snapmap could do, and then you go out and you try those things, and that's really, I think, part of the reason why behind the whole like third wave renaissance of snap maps was people playing Eye of Horus and going, shit, you can do that?
Yeah.
So, you know, so that's
Spider Mastermind had the same effect too.
Yeah.
That's why I think when I think after they spotlighted this map, they were like, you know what, this is a good place to end it. with this map here.
I still think it would be nice if there was some more, like, you know, more people getting spotlighted.
Yeah,
You
it
know,
would be
just
nice
to-
if they made that a thing that just kept doing.
Yeah, like, just because, it's been 2 years. I'm ready to see some new.
Maybe even if they had something like a voting system or something. Leave the people who are still here to do something.
They had a voting system, and then people decided that Five Nights at Freddy's and COD Zombies were the best snap maps you could make.
Oh shit! Is that where the joke goes? Okay. Again, on the radio for you. Get-go, so.
Well, to be fair, it's because nobody's really made a super good version of one of those two maps, but
Oh, I love that.
Anyway.
The torso just goes flying.
And this fight goes on for a while. I've just now realized how long it goes on for.
Yeah, there's a reason why. There's a reason why Eye of Horus is basically a meme for long maps.
The Eye of a Horse.
It's like, it's long, but it's not Eye of Horus long.
Yeah. I mean, Eye of Horus is, like, next thing you know, we're all going to be doing what we did with, like, Dark Souls and comparing everything to Dark Souls.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, it's kind of like if you were to watch all of the Lord of the Ring movies back to back. You'd be like,
oh god,
you'd be winded at the end, but you couldn't deny that you experienced something pretty awesome.
Yeah, true.
And that's sort of like what playing this map is like. It's like, oh my god. I see so many people on YouTube. I see so many people live streaming on YouTube. They're like, oh, I'm gonna play some of these snap maps, and they start with Eye of Horus because it's right there. And then by the time they're done, they're like, we're gonna end it here.
Yeah. We should just have like Lord of the Rings music playing in this map.
Yeah, it's you know what, that's a very good point because for a lot of people this is going to be their first snap map. This may actually be very intimidating for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So they go, this is what I'm expected to build with this.
There's always,
because remember back in the day when like the first maps you saw were like all of the like easy point builder maps and all that other stuff, and you're just like, oh yeah, I can totally do this,
Right.
I can make 1,000 maps that are better than this. Now you start with Eye of Horus, and you're just kind of like, time to put the tools away. I'm not gonna no.
Well, I kind of wish that wouldn't discourage people. I kind of wish that would just make people want to go, hey, I want to try to make something this cool.
Oh, same.
I don't know.
Same. Yeah.
The creative process is a beautiful process.
That was some bullshit.
What? Whoa.
How did that even, what?
Demons are stronger than you think.
Yeah.
Oh.
And here's that, one.
This is where I got knocked, okay?
See? I like how he makes it so he blocks you.
I fell into that fence area.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I don't know how you're supposed to get past him, though. I actually don't know how you're supposed to get past him.
Get past him.
Yeah, you really just kind of have to do it.
I kind of just, like, I messed up his AI, and that's how I did it.
This is a good example of me trying to get to my in the toaster, but my brother fucking with me.
See, yeah, you gotta sort of take advantage of the fact that you can move in the sky.
Yeah. The Baron kind of reminds me of like Michael Jordan doing a slam dunk when he jumps.
Yeah.
Maybe I should have you draw a picture of the Baron slam dunking a basketball for me. That'd be great.
Oh, hey, there you go. I'd totally do it.
The basketball net is the Eye of Horus.
Oh yeah, there you go. That'd be a good one.
Yeah. You'd have his tongue all over.
You're trying to slam dunk that energy orb.
Yeah.
Slam dunk it like a donut.
Oh yeah.
There we go.
Strangely enough, when I first played this map, I did not know this area was Egyptian themed.
What?
What do you think the pyramid was?
The pyramid's kind of a pretty big clue.
I don't know how, but I did not know.
I mean, to Patrick's credit, it does have a bit of Greek to it, so.
It kind of did. So
the bosses are named. The bosses are named Ra and Horus.
Yeah.
And there's a pyramid.
I wasn't big
All right,
on,
Patrick,
like,
I'm going to your next
like,
PTA meeting. All right.
Right? No. I'm not mad at you, Patrick. I'm just disappointed. Okay? No. In all seriousness, I blame our school system.
Yep.
Well, actually, to be fair, I got educated on like gods in high school, so I did get that.
To be fair, we skipped out on the Egyptian stuff entirely, and we moved straight to Greek.
Okay, right, but like video games that like do the Egyptian thing, like friggin' Assassin's Creed and
Sonic 3.
Wait, you're right. They didn't go to
Mario
Egypt's
3
origins, did they? Oh yeah, the Mario boards that all took place in like like pyramids in Egypt are like the thing. Like how do you like not associate a pyramid with Egypt?
Can we just talk about how this one goal in the map right now is fuck up the world? Destroy the sun.
Oh yeah, no, this is awesome. Yeah, we can pick on Patrick later.
Yeah.
Don't worry, Patrick. We'll show you some mercy.
We got you.
A little bit more merciful. I respect you, Patrick. Lazuli's your friend.
There you go.
All right. Skadoosh.
And then the world is dark forever.
Yeah.
Victory.
And now the world's dark.
And there's your score, which is the distance between stars measured in inches.
Ever since then, the world needed a new source of fire.
You know, I never actually understood the reason why you were going to go and kill Horus anyway. 499. That's not bad.
Hey.
You're pretty good, JR.
Top 500, that ain't too bad,
You're in
huh?
the top 500, yeah. All right. I mean, none of us can best pocket lizard, but
Puppet have taken over. Egyptian gods and their mastermind Puppet have taken over.
Yeah. 60 to 90 minutes, he says.
Yeah.
Wow.
My goodness.
What a show.
All right, so
What an adventure.
so that was Eye of Horus, everybody. So let's go ahead and do some final thoughts, and we'll wrap it up. Let's start out with Mr. Patrick. What do you think of Eye of Horus?
Eye of Horus is a great map. I love the custom geo. Love the pacing. Final area is a little annoying, but I can look past that. That's all I have to say.
All right, Count Lazuli, what do you think of Eye of Horus?
Anyone trying to make an ambitious snap map in the community, look to Eye of Horus as a good inspiration. You'll learn a lot from that, and there's a reason why it's used as an example of a high-quality snap map.
Shadesmaster, what do you think of Eye of Horus? Did we lose Shadesmaster?
Shades.
All right, Z-Man Zilla.
Well, it's no loose screw, but
No, it's not.
In all seriousness, Eye of Horus is and will always be the benchmark as far as I'm concerned, as far as of greatness in SnapMap form. I think a lot as we go for as we went forward from that point. How many times does Eye of Horus get brought up when we're talking about other people's maps? We always talk about what Eye of Horus did that their map didn't, or we always say this reminds me of this thing in Eye of Horus. Like Eye of Horus is in many ways one of the few snap maps that all of us that review snap maps will turn to and say, it point to as an example of something. And sometimes that's for the bad as well. Like when we point to Eye of Horus and go, well, here's the thing. Eye of Horus was able to keep, to respect the player for 90 to 120 minutes. Does this map do that? Like things like that. So as it is a benchmark map, warts and all, it deserves that status. It really is that good.
Yeah. Shadesmaster, are you back?
Shades, buddy.
I think he's
You there?
the one thing about Eye of Horus is you could die of old age. I'm sorry if that's happened to Shades here.
Yeah.
So my final thoughts are, You know, there's this episode of The Simpsons where groundskeeper Willie's talking about how he's got arthritis in his fingers from playing Asteroids. I think I got arthritis in my hands from playing Eye of Horus, but you know what? It's one of those things where at the end you just have to sit back and you just know that you experienced something awesome. I mean, it is such an epic, a full-length feature map. I mean, but just everything. The geo is amazing. All the little mechanics, all the fights feel different. All the bosses. It really is just a wild ride. And I'll say the same thing I said for Devil City Ransom, which is that if there has to be a map stuck at that start screen, I'm sure glad Eye of Horus is there, because you know, if this is people's first taste of Snapmap, that's no bad thing. I'm glad that this map is there, because it just represents what you can do with Snapmap so well that it really deserves to be on that start screen as much as any other map I could think of. And
Absolutely.
It is just a masterpiece, and that's about all I can say about it.
Oh, absolutely. I cannot disagree with that.
It's a block of perfect gold.
And you know what? I'd like to add a little something after we've talked about all that. Anybody that's like playing Eye of Horus nowadays, after all of the constant like updating and everything that's been done to it, doesn't realize what a big role feedback played in how good Eye of Horus is. Taylorhead, on top of everything else that's awesome about him, loves feedback. He eats it up, and that includes the negative feedback. He constantly like studies the way people play his maps. He listens to what people have to say, and he's used all of that advice and all of the information he's gotten from those playthroughs to improve the experience constantly. And I think that more than any other lesson is really what any Snapmapper should be taking from Eye of Horus, is that, you know, you may think you built the best map ever, and yeah, there's always going to be haters out there like Patrick that don't like your map, but the thing is that you listen to it, you still listen. You know, Taylorhead still listens, and that's what took what was already a really good map and just pushed it into the beyond, to a godlike state. Imagine a map called Eye of Horus being godlike, but it really is. And so that, I think, if any Snapmappers are watching right now and kind of wondering, well, what's the secret sauce to Eye of Horus's greatness? The answer, listen when somebody gives you feedback. That's all. Yeah,
well said. And I also want to add that for as long as this map is, and as much as we joke about it being just sort of a long 100 miles of bad road, it actually does have a lot of replay value to it because of the score multiplier system. That makes it so competitive, because you beat it, and then once you get a feel for how the game plays, it's really all about getting and defending and holding on to that score multiplier and just trying not to lose it. And that's what gives it so much replay value, is because if you can hold on to that score multiplier just a little longer next time, you can have a wildly higher score.
Yeah.
And that's also if you want to.
Well, yeah.
You can just do a casual playthrough if you want, or you can be competitive. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah, and you can play it however you want to play it. Here's the thing: it's difficult in a post-Terratella world to chase high scores, but but it can still be done. And I'll tell you, nothing feels greater than when you play an iteration of Eye of Horus, even if it's like it's been after like the millionth update or whatever, and still get into the top 20. If you can pull it off, you're just like, oh my god, I did something godlike,
Yeah, for sure. All right, we ready to wrap this up?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so too.
All right, so that was Eye of Horus by Taylorhead, everybody. An amazing, epic map. Thanks for watching. Yeah, thanks for the soundboard. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. If you have a map you'd like to nominate for the next Snapcast, whenever that might be, go ahead and leave that in the comments, and we'll take a look at it. I don't want to just be going down the old community spotlight. I'm sure there's a lot of really good maps out there that were never spotlighted, of course. So go ahead and nominate those, and good times. All right. So that's about all. Till next time. Peace. Peace out.
Go play.
Bye-bye.
See ya.